Okay, welcome. Today we're talking about electromagnetics, which sounds very scientific, but we're talking about this from the human design perspective. And in human design, it is actually talking about auras, energy fields, energetic connections, really. But the term that was used in traditional human design was electromagnetics. So electromagnetics, I'll use that term, in human design is about the way in which our openness interacts with the world in some way. And there are two main ways that our energetic selves will interact with the world. So the first one is interacting with people. The second one is the way in which our energy interacts with planetary transits that are happening. Now, I have spoken about planetary transits previously. If you still have some questions, let me know and I will go a little bit deeper or go through that again. All right, but we're focusing today specifically on how our openness interacts with other people, or I suppose the other side of it is how our definition interacts with other people as well, because there's two sides to the story. So to go a little bit more into what I mean by that, where you have defined centers, you are like a little broadcasting antenna. Boom, 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 all the little impulses going out into the world saying, this is who I am. Now, we have a choice about what that signal is like, what the quality of it is, don't we? All right, we can be in the highest expression of that energy we're sending out or not, or somewhere in between. You know, we're kind of on a somewhere along the line, not just this end or that end, not just the black or the white. All right, I'm sure you know what I mean. So that's what we're doing, where we're defined in terms of centers in particular. Where you are undefined, you are the receiving dish. You are receiving the energy that is being sent out from those defined centers. Okay, so when you receive that energy, you're actually designed to do stuff with it. So you're designed to amplify it, you're designed to actually really experience it, and you're designed to let it go. All right, so let's dive in a little bit more to how this is working. And we'll also bring in hanging gates and that kind of thing. So when you are by yourself, you have your aura just nice and comfy. They're around you. You know, yes, things are being broadcast out or potentially taken in, but there's not going to be much happening. Particularly if you are like I am at the moment, home alone. I suppose there's the cats that could potentially be triggering my, my conditioning field. But we won't talk about animals and plants at this point because the big impacts are people and the planetary transits. All right, so basically then I leave my house. I go to the shopping centre, and the shopping centre, there's just people everywhere. The minute I step into the shopping centre and there are other people there, we create something called a conditioning field. And the conditioning field is where the things that I'm broadcasting go out and the things that other people are broadcasting comes into me. All right, it's going to come in where I have open centers. The other thing that will happen at a deeper level is where I have hanging gates, I might actually make connections with people who are in the shopping centre who have the other end of that gate or so on. Look at the previous video to get a sense of the different ways that you can create connections through hanging gates and channels and that kind of thing. All right, so that will be happening as well. We cannot control the taking in of the energy, the connecting with these people, the impact that we're having on them through our definition. None of that is within our control, which sounds a bit ooh, that sounds a bit like some of that stuff that maybe you've heard about, like the spiritual vampires who come along to just kind of suck out your energy, all of that kind of idea. So this is not anything that is there to damage us, but we can often, I think, twist the meaning of this energy we're taking in, because we are essentially egocentric, okay? Everything that's happening within my body, within my mind, within my emotions, etc., is all about me. But that's not actually what is the truth. The truth is understanding that only these parts are about me. This is the stuff I own, because this is where I'm defined. This other stuff over here, that's not me. But how does it help me to understand others? How can it help me to achieve my soul's purpose by connecting into that energy? Essentially, what can I learn from it? All right, so we know we can't control the taking in of the energy. We can control how we view taking the energy in. All right, that's important. We can control how we view the energy that we're taking in. When we are unaware, what will happen when we're taking in this energy, remember I called this the conditioning field. It can trigger things that have been conditioned within us across our life. So if you are having a strong emotional reaction, if you're having a strong mental reaction, if you're having any kind of amplified kind of impact that feels negative, scary, fear-driven, ego-driven in the negative sense of the ego, then this is telling you that there are still some things that you need to recognize and work through, and this is presenting you with an opportunity to do that. But it's also about going, oh, hey, this isn't mine. So someone here is actually potentially in need of some of my energy to help them with what's going on in their life. It's a shared experience. So what can I understand about how my energy might contribute to someone else? I won't necessarily know who it is. This is why I've used the shopping center example. I'm just passing people as I'm walking through. I'm standing next to someone in the register checkout line. I don't know who they are, but I'm still taking in their energy, and they're still taking in some of my energy. All right, so learn what's happening when you're reacting, when you're being triggered, essentially. Think about what you're learning by taking in this energy of other people. It's giving you energetic information that can actually expand your awareness of who you are, but also expand your empathy and your understanding and your knowledge of other people. It's not a bad thing to be connected. We're all energetically connected in some way. So really tap into what you're learning in that situation. I learn a lot of things now I have awareness, and I do get lots of triggers too, which I go, ooh, that's interesting. Haven't had that one before. But then I can kind of think a little bit about, what does this feel like it is? Where is it coming from? Now, the third thing that we control is what we do with this energy. Now, if we come from that very egocentric point of view that I talked about, we're going to feel like this is ours, that we've got to hold on to it, that we've got to do something with it, that it means something. Instead of going, wow, someone's on a real emotional roller coaster at the moment, or maybe a few people, that's interesting. That's what it feels like to, have that kind of emotional intensity. I don't know about that. I don't have a defined solar plexus. So, wow, interesting. But I've learned what I need to from this, and I can let it go. And through time, you can actually learn specific ways of allowing that energy to release. It does depend a little bit on what type you are, things to do with your design. You just play around with it. This is the human design experiment. All right, we are all here to experiment with the things that are impacting our design learn from them, you know, we might have this design that came in at birth, but there's a lot more happening. We're never going to return entirely to that natal design. We are not meant to, all right? We are meant to learn as we move through life, take on things as we move through life. This is why we're designed the way that we are, so that we can actually have those experiences that are part of us being our true intended self. So our baby self and, you know, our full gamut of life self. Just know what's yours and what needs to be let go of, and have a bit of fun with it. It's going, oh, well, there we go. I can feel that sacral energy popping in now. What can I do with it? You know, it's not meant to be serious and blah. Let's dig down into it. Enjoy. Okay. I'll talk to you later.